Hey, future Japa community, I am Clarabelle. Welcome to Japa with Clarabelle, your go-to channel for stress-free relocation, tips, visa hacks, and career growth for nurses and non-nurses moving abroad. So whether you're dreaming of going to Ireland, the UK, Europe, and Canada, or even beyond, I am here to break down the complicated immigration processes into simple, actionable steps so you can go and focus on what really matters and building amazing life overseas. On this channel, you are actually going to get step-by-step guides, things like self-sponsorship routes, NMBI, NMC, NCLEX registration tips, job search strategies for international nurses and non-nurses as well. So real-life stories from nurses who successfully jabadad or jabad, whichever way. All right, real-life stories from nurses who successfully jabad and the motivation you need to make it happen. So please kindly hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification icon so that you will never miss any updates for your dream life abroad is closer than you think. Now in today's video, I'm going to talk about the self-sponsorship route to Ireland for nurses. And first of all, we're going to talk about what is self-sponsorship route. Now, this self-sponsorship route it actually means people sponsoring themselves to Ireland instead of waiting for employers to sponsor them. Because in the time past, employers have sponsored candidates to Ireland, and what they do is they pay for your visa, they pay for your exam, like RCSI exam. They also pay for flight tickets, accommodation, NMBI fees, some of the costs to actually make it easier for candidates to migrate abroad. But due to the red list countries and the red tapes all over because of things happening around, now some of the agencies have cut down on recruiting nurses from red list countries, and which is, strictly impacting Africans, especially those in West Africa and some other countries around who are also on the red list. So now we've come up with a solution that if you have the funds to actually sponsor yourself, this might be a better alternative for you to actually, get into Ireland instead of waiting for an employer who will sponsor you and you may never get that opportunity. So if you are actually a nurse who is trained abroad and you want to come to Ireland, there is another way for you to come to Ireland if you're struggling getting employment offer, especially for those nurses in the red list countries. Now, what this means is that you have to pay for everything yourself, like I said. What would be the eligibility or the requirement for nurses? First of all, you need to have your NMBI decision letter. So if you've not gotten your NMBI decision letter, I will suggest that you go and register with NMBI and begin the process. It might take a bit of a time, but you need to gather your documents and start the process as soon as possible. I will put the link below, and the NMBI website is www.nmbi.ie. Okay, so you go there and get started for those who are registering from overseas. Now, the second step is another step-by-step application process is once you get your NMBI decision letter, you need your English test, which is IELTS or OET. Okay. Now, for NMBI, the requirement is that you have 7 in any 3 components. That is for IELTS, or you have 6.5 in any component at all. They are not saying it must be this, it must be that. They are happy for you to alternate whichever component but you need to have 3 7s in 3 components. You need to have 7 in 3 components and 1 6.5 in any component. Okay. And then if it's OET, you also need to have at least a B. 3 Bs in 3 components and then, 1 C. What that means is that you need anything between 300 to 350. 1 component you need to make 300 to 350, and the any 3 components is 350 and above for OET. All right. Now, once you've gotten your NMBI decision letter and you've gotten your English test certificate, the next step will be for you to pay for your RCSI exam. Now, the RCSI exam costs about 2,800 euros. So if you book that, the link also I'll put below is an RCSI website. So you can go there and read the information yourself and find out more about it. But you can make payment for your RCSI exam, which is 2,800 euros, and ensure that you're booking anyway the months what happens is that exam dates are further down the line. That means they are far away. They are not anything close like next month or 2 months. No, you probably might see in 3-4 months ahead of time because people are actually booking and the dates are going farther away. So you probably will get 4 5 months or even 6 months, beyond the date from your booking from. That's what it means. So when you book your RCSI exam and you have this ready, then you can contact us. We'll also help you with your AWS, because the next will be your AWS, a typical working scheme approval letter. Without that, you cannot get your visa. So this is where a lot of people get stuck, because you need an employer who will be able to issue you a 2-year employment contract to say they're employing you, so that you can use that to get your AWS approval. But without the RCSI exam, you cannot get the AWS approval. So that's why you need to book your RCSI exam. Now, I know some people will be asking, what about clinical adaptation? Clinical adaptation may not really work in this self-sponsorship route, because there are limited spaces for clinical adaptation. Okay, so the self-sponsorship route that we are actually offering does not encourage clinical adaptation. So this will only be for those who have the option of taking RCSI exam in their paper, when I'm in their decision letter. So the RCSI exam, it's important that you book it before you start coming to us for AWS. So what we do is we help you with the AWS application process, and we help you by providing the documents that you need for the AWS approval. So once you get your AWS approval letter, then you can take it with all the documents, part of the documents that we've given you, and go and apply for your visa. Okay, without that, you may not be able to get your visa, because they will request that you get AWS approval and contract of employment, and this is where we stand in to help you. Okay, so once you get your visa, the next is for you to look for accommodation and then come to Ireland and take your exam. And once you pass your exam and you get your NMBI PIN, it's a lot easier, because nurses get jobs easily. The issue is that a lot of employers in Ireland prefer nurses who are already in Ireland with NMBI PIN. So that's where the main challenge is. And this is where we help you out, because we are also a recruitment agency, and we try to help you to find jobs or place you in employment. Okay, if there is any employment we have available at that time, we also offer it to you. But most especially people who get into Ireland through a 2-year employment contract, normally after 1 year, they are actually free to go to other, like apply for other jobs, and then move on to whichever next career option that they have available. So the documents you need for your visa approval will be your AWS and your contract of employment and employment letter, which your employer will give you. Okay, and that will also help you to procure that. And how to register for NMBI, I will leave the link below. Like I said, you can go to www.nmbi.ie and find more information for registering from overseas. So I will just put the link below so that you can just click straight away and go where the information is, and then you understand what it is that they require you to do. And then finding a job. Finding a job in Ireland after arrival, you will require agency assistance, which is where we come in and play the role. So once you're interested, if you're interested, I'll suggest that you send us an email. I'll put the email in the link. So go to the link and get the email so that you can send us an email if you're interested in self-sponsorship route, and we'll be able to guide you accordingly on what you need to do and what steps you need to follow in order for you to get your AWS approval and for you to come to Ireland to take your exams. So that will be it for today, and I do appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for coming in and listening, and I hope you come back again. So if you have not subscribed, please hit the bell notification button, like, share and subscribe, so that whenever we put out new videos out there, you'll be notified and you can come straight away to get the information that you need. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.